Hi, and welcome to the Nation Diplomatic Dispatch, your window into the world of diplomacy and international affairs. I'm GERARD. Joining us today is His Excellency LISUALDO GASPAR, Ambassador of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste to Malaysia. We'll be discussing a truly historic milestone, Timor-Leste's ASEAN journey as the 11th member of the regional bloc. Your Excellency, welcome. And at this juncture, when I think back, we are now at episode 25 or 26 of the Nation Diplomatic Dispatch, and the embassy that helped us get this this whole program off was your embassy.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
We need to thank you for helping us do this. Start the Nation Diplomatic Dispatch. We have over 25 embassies that have come after you, and you've come back. And we'd like to congratulate you for wearing the number 11 jersey in the ASEAN team. It's good to have you here. But let's begin here. Now, you've officially become ASEAN's 11th member, and it's a very historic milestone for one of, should we say, Southeast Asia's youngest nations. From gaining independence in 2002 to now joining a regional bloc of over 600 million people, what does this moment represent for Timor-Leste and for ASEAN as a whole? Your Excellency?
Once again, thank you very much for the opportunity, inviting me to come back here again. And in regards to our accession to ASEAN, it's a historical moment. It's a convergence of history, hope, and shared future. Our accession to ASEAN, it's a reaffirmation of our identity, being part of Southeast Asia. The journey has been challenging, long, yet meaningful. Mm-hmm. It shows our determination to be part of the Southeast Asia, but also we want to contribute to Southeast Asia. Becoming a full member of ASEAN to show that we are ready to learn, to contribute as a member of family and grow together. For ASEAN, as His Excellency Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim eloquently said that Timor-Leste's accession completed nations in Southeast Asia to join ASEAN. So that's a completion of families in Southeast Asia. It also shows that ASEAN embraces inclusivity. So having Timor-Leste as the newest member of ASEAN shows that ASEAN embraces unity in diversity, regardless of the history, the development path of each country. It shows that.
But I think that's something we, as members of ASEAN, learn from Timor-Leste. Do not hold grudges. Let bygones be bygones. Always look to the future as to what you can do, where we can go. Now, you said it's been meaningful, it's been challenging, it's been long, it's been meaningful. Challenging and meaningful how?
Challenging in terms that there are lots of requirements that internally we need to comply with, to adhere with. We have a roadmap, 7 criteria that we need to fulfill. Many of the criteria, especially on economic pillars, are very challenging. We need to do internal legislation. That's challenging. It requires also national consensus to be able to have all segments of our political parties in the country to have consistency, to have continuity in terms of the aspiration to join ASEAN, because we have change of government, but also because of internal challenge within ASEAN. There needs to be a consensus, and for that reason, of course, we also are very grateful with the support from ASEAN member countries, especially and dialogue partners, especially Malaysia, through the leadership of Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who managed to get consensus among ASEAN countries for our accession to ASEAN.
Mm-hmm. If you could indulge me for a bit, and I'd like to bring this down to you on a personal level. How did it feel for you as a representative of your nation? I mean, to be Timor-Leste's ambassador to Malaysia, Timor-Leste's voice in Malaysia, and to see that go down in your tenure here as ambassador of Timor-Leste to Malaysia.
Personally, it was such a moving and extraordinary moment to see our journey, finally Timor-Leste, take its place in ASEAN. I was there in Jakarta in 2011 when we submitted our application, and I'm very fortunate I was at the hall of KLCC when we formally admitted as a new member of ASEAN, which made the moment such a profound to me personally. But seeing the journey, the perseverance, the challenge that we face, it's a remarkable, and this achievement would not have been possible if without support of ASEAN countries. As I said earlier, that ASEAN countries, especially Malaysia, supported us for this history, and that's why we were able to be admitted as a member, and for that reason we are deeply grateful for.
Mm-hmm. I mean, our Prime Minister, Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim, describes Timor-Leste as a genuine, functional and effective partner. Now, what I don't get is the question here, what does this recognition mean for your government and your people as you take on this new regional role? But I think the bigger question here is, you know, when he says genuine, functional and effective partner, what do you think he's trying to describe here?
I would take this angle on two angles. First, we are deeply honored with the remark of His Excellency Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim for the recognition of how we accomplish accomplish all the requirement mandated or required under the roadmap, but also show how we have come a long way since we regaining our independence in terms of building our nations. This also reflects that the progress that we make in terms of consolidating our democracy institution, strengthen rule of law, upholding freedom of expression, valued, which is value or define our national character. On the other hand, it's call for us in Timor-Leste to work hard, decently, work hard to build institution, strengthen our capacity, empowering our economy, empowering our people, so that we can participate meaningfully in ASEAN and also contribute to ASEAN agenda. Right. By doing that, we will not betray those ASEAN leaders that have put trust on us, especially like Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim.
Before I move to immediate priorities and integration for Timor-Leste, I don't know if we can digress a little bit, because when we talk about economic stability, I think the Greater Sunrise is something that we always need to talk about, something we need to see, and something that we hope will be pushed forward faster, just to get Timor-Leste up to speed with the rest of the nations, and it will have something to put back into ASEAN. What are your thoughts on this?
Petroleum industry will be continued to be the backbone of our economy, and that's where the revenue comes for developing our infrastructure. And of course, the discussion on Greater Sunrise continues, and hopefully, the early next year we will have the announcement, the decision on how to develop Greater Sunrise. For our government, our position is quite clear that we want the pipeline to be, the Greater Sunrise to be developed in Timor-Leste and to enable economic development in Timor-Leste. And of course, on that note...
So you want the pipeline to go through Timor-Leste, which means processing needs to be done in Timor-Leste and not as intended there were a couple of plans, but the plan Timor-Leste wants as a country is that the pipeline goes through Timor-Leste, which brings about more jobs in Timor-Leste at this point.
That's our government position, and hopefully with the processing of Greater Sunrise in Timor-Leste will provide opportunity for investment, and of course we are welcome private sector from ASEAN countries, especially from Malaysia, to come and invest on petroleum industry in Timor-Leste, be it in our supply base, or also be partners with our local companies there to provide services for the operation of Greater Sunrise.
So when you talk about Greater Sunrise, around the Greater Sunrise, there are other immediate priorities for integration, such as governance and infrastructure. Okay, let's leave trade aside for now. Governance and infrastructure. How do you see the rest of ASEAN chipping into, with regards to ideation in dealing with governance and infrastructure? What would you like from us with regards to that?
Our expectation is that now that we are as a member, we would like to align ourselves with the standard of ASEAN, including in terms of the governance. And we want to see that we have practices that similar to ASEAN, so that there is no discrepancies in terms of good governance, accountability in our region. In terms of economic development and also infrastructure, yes, that's one of our priority, that we want to utilize our membership to allow more trade, diversify our economy, more export activities. In that sense that we will continue to invest on infrastructure development as service to our country, but also to enable economic development. And of course, in the long run, we need to develop facilities like hospital, hotels and convention center in order to host ASEAN countries in the future. So there is a potential there, and of course we would like to learn from ASEAN partners in terms of the standards that the standard and practice that they have in their own country. That would be very useful for us.
Mm-hmm. Now, Timor-Leste's permanent representative to ASEAN recently said that the nation is eager to bring its experience in peace building, democratic governance and reconciliation to the bloc. Now, the question is this: how do you see these values contributing to ASEAN's vision of a rules-based and people-centered community? And that's something Timor-Leste is very honed in on with regards to people-centered community, and you can see that in everyday life. And also when I had a chance to speak to President Ramos Horta, he talked at length about that, peace building. Now, we talk about how we can contribute to Timor-Leste, but Timor-Leste has a lot for us to learn with regards to peace building. So with regards to what your representative or the permanent representative to ASEAN recently said, that the nation is eager to bring its experience in peace building, democratic governance and reconciliation to the bloc, how do you see your country contributing towards this?
We are very mindful about our contribution in ASEAN. As a newest member, we'll bring modest experience in terms of peace building, democratic governance. We have the experience of coming out of conflict and then rebuilding our relation with Indonesia, and also that's with our external neighbors. But internally, we need to have also consolidate internally. And we built the process with our own. We go to our people, explain what is the rationale, and then engage them. Meaning that having the involvement of our people, putting them as a center, as part of the process, have a sense of ownership, will have the long-lasting impact. And that's the story that we would like to share with our ASEAN member countries. If those experiences are applicable or somehow would contribute in terms of building a more peaceful ASEAN, that's the modest contribution we can offer.
So you talk about learning from conflict, coming out of it, whether it's an external conflict or an internal conflict, and the people have learned a lot. And whilst being in Dili, I realized one thing. Dili can become busy with a lot of activity, but people remain calm, and even if they're standing in line and if they have to wait for an hour, they wait without complaining. Is that something that comes from a time where they saw too much conflict, that people are always calm? They try to keep as calm as possible, because I think what we're doing as the media is sometimes giving the wrong narrative, that the narrative from 20 years ago still, if you're going to Dili, be careful, don't be out at night, things like that. And I was there, and we don't have problems like that, clearly. So what I'm trying to get at is, coming from this question is, did the people learn the sense of calm and this whole Zen feeling that we have in Dili, it being a city, did that come from the times of conflict that people saw that and said, look, we don't want this anymore?
We are very fortunate or unfortunate that we lived through many conflicts in our life. You know, we lived through Portuguese colonialism and then Indonesian occupation. And then after independence, we have our own internal problem. So we have experienced this. So we have our people already mature enough to realize that, you know, it's a time for us to move on. And, you know, things might not be as quick as what we wanted, but, you know, you have to be calm, persistent. That's what where you will result. So it also shows that the reality, what happened in Timor is that we are quite peaceful. There's no violence that based on ethnicity. We might have some pocket of
disagreements. I mean, not
yes.
violence, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. And we, unfortunately, we do have some domestic violence crime in Timor, and that's alarming. But overall, the situation is very peaceful.
It's interesting how I've been there. I was in Timor-Leste for a week, and I'm today like a spokesperson for Timor-Leste.
Thank you for
and Dili. Yeah. Now with the youthful population, there's so many young people in Timor-Leste. It's just unbelievable what a young population you have, rich natural resources, and a very fast-growing private sector that's very vivid. Now, Timor-Leste offers very exciting opportunities for trade, investment, and also innovation. I think this is where we'd like to hear where do you see the strongest potential for us to collaborate with you or everyone else in ASEAN?
That's right. Of course, trade and investment is the strongest potential that we can partner with our ASEAN member countries, and especially with Malaysia. We are a new country developing our economy, and we need lots of investment in the country. Going to Timor today, if a private sector going to Timor today, you are not just making business or making some return, but you are making history as part of the nation building. You are going there, you are not going to a market that already well established. You are going to innovate, and you might get footprint in Timor-Leste, and that's a legacy that you might want to build in Timor-Leste. So you are not just simple go there doing business. It's a opportunity, it's a green field, and it's blank canvas that you can innovate. And that's the potential that we have. And of course, with young population that eager to learn and contribute with our partners, rightful partners, we will thrive.
If I may, Your Excellency, whilst being there, I met with a lot of Malaysians, and I said, what's it like for you here? And they say, Malaysia in the 80s and 90s, we saw our growth and we made some mistakes. Now that we're here, we want to try to help and see that they don't make the mistakes we made. And I thought that was a really champion of a line to hear, and I hope everyone who contributes will speed up that process very soon. Now, although Timor's ASEAN membership is still new, you've got countries like the Philippines. They have already expressed interest in, let's say, closer defense cooperation, and we heard something about that at the summit. Now, how does your government or Dili view such gestures of partnership? Is it just ASEAN talk, or is it being taken seriously?
Even before we become a member of ASEAN, we already have a cooperation, defense cooperation with ASEAN member countries. For instance, our troops, our officials from defense, our troops been trained here in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in the Philippines. So it's already exists but since now we are become a member, so we would like to see those cooperation to be much structured, and that's why recently we signed a MOU on defense cooperation with Malaysia, and we see that because this cooperation already established, now that we are part of ASEAN member, will be in line with ASEAN mechanism, so that to strengthen our cooperation and resilience, in the face of traditional and non-traditional challenges of security. So it's just a natural thing that to formalize all the existing cooperation that already our ASEAN member country extended to us.
Right. Dato' Zahid Hamidi also signed an MOU between reaffirmed Malaysia's commitment with another MOU, and I don't know if you can give us some information about this. It's rural development with Timor-Leste. Now, from where you stand, how significant is this collaboration for Timor's long-term growth and development, rural development, so to speak?
This MOU is a fruit, the result of the visit of His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister to Dili last year in August. And during the visit, we discussed about the areas of potential cooperation, including on rural development. And recently, at the end of September, 10 of our officials was here in Kuala Lumpur, participated in the training course provided by the Ministry of Rural Development for to learn about capacity building and also how to organize rural finances, meetings, to share the experience. And also what we learned that the practice here, how Malaysia's rural community continue to maintain their practices but adapt some innovative way to earn some living, like through craft, through finger food industry, small finger food industry, to earn living while continue maintain. And that's practices very good for us to learn and tailor.
Right. Well, while we're looking at the sea now, and you're talking about different industries, small industries, blue economy is a big thing Timor talks about, and Timor is also sure that it doesn't want to go down the road of what Bali has done, although Bali has done well. Timor wants to find its other way. Now, talk to us a little bit about the blue economy. I know it's not on the list of questions here.
Look, I think blue economy is one of the priority of the country. We have a coastal line, beautiful beaches, but we want to develop in a way that sustainable. And of course, fishery industry, marine ecosystem are in the agenda of our development. And of course, we would like to see that in the future, much of our economy related to marine needs to be concentrated, and that's why our Prime Minister headed this blue economy task force, and that's the emphasis.
So the thing I've heard about the blue economy is, I mean, just how rich the diversity. You can swim at the dugongs with the blue whales. You can jog along the coast. You can jog along the coast. If you're a runner or a marathon runner, you can run from one end to the other end and end up at Cristo Rey, which is a landmark, and that will be a fantastic run. Watch the sunrise. So if you're going there, there's all these things you can do, and it's all tied up to the blue economy. Now, as Timor-Leste embarks on this new journey within ASEAN, what is your message to all fellow member states? And I'm asking you this personally as the ambassador of Timor-Leste to Malaysia and to the people of Timor-Leste about the shared future ahead. And we'd like to hear what His Excellency LISUALDO has to say.
First, we are deeply grateful for all the support that now we are enable us to be a member of the family of ASEAN, ASEAN family. Secondly, we would like once again to reiterate our commitment that we would want to learn from ASEAN and to be an active participant, member of ASEAN. We will commit ourselves to be a reliable partner of ASEAN that contribute meaningfully in ASEAN's agenda. To our fellow Timorese, this is a new journey that we need to work harder and embrace this opportunity, the challenge, so that we can show through our actions for embrace the opportunity so that we can enhance our visibility within the region and also for betterment of our country and also contribute to the regional prosperity.
Right. With that, I'd like to talk about coffee, but we're running out of time. If you're going to look for coffee, and he's taken me for coffee in Dili, please stop drinking other coffees. Drink Lete Foho, which is a Timor-Leste'S coffee. It's the best. It grows in the wild. They don't have an industry for it. It just grows in the wild, and it's great coffee. It's non-acidic. I'm becoming such an ambassador now.
Thank you.
For Timor-Leste, this moment is the beginning of a new story, one written with hope, cooperation, and shared purpose. It is also a powerful reminder that ASEAN is more than a community of nations. It is a family, one that listens, learns, and grows together through challenges and change. I'm GERARD RATNAM. Thank you for staying with us. This has been The Nation Diplomatic Dispatch, your window into the world of diplomacy and international affairs. See you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.